I am based here in New York City at Cornell Tech, and I teach courses on virtual reality, augmented reality, and interaction design. And when explaining these or communicating these concepts to students, it's sometimes challenging to do that through traditional slides, through a regular textbook. So the project is enabling the instructor to perform a demonstration, to allow the instructor to record demonstrations in a virtual environment, annotate these explanations, give verbal commentary as well, and then secondly, allow the students to step into this virtual environment at a different time and play back these recordings. So it's an asynchronous learning tool. Now what we want to do is to set your device up for development. In the application, the travel technique is grab move, the same as you have in Gravity Sketch. Hold down both grab buttons to move around. We just ran a pilot experience in the classroom. They had the opportunity to explore the virtual environment while the instructor is explaining and performing the task using the technique. So the go-go technique is an arm extension technique. So it's a selection and manipulation technique that allows the user to reach further than their real hand goes.
When we originally learned the go-go technique, it was a 2D drawing where the axis was all on one 2D plane. And so originally I actually, when I had to model in 3D, I got the axes wrong because I thought it was like all like this, like spread out flat. And then eventually I learned that it's actually 3D into the environment. And so if I had this originally, like when we first were learning the concept, I think I would have gotten it much faster and understood it in a deeper level. I think it was pretty cool because I was able to navigate through the scene using angles, rotation, and I was able to zoom in, zoom out, see it from front on and from the back and like all the way around and change the speed. So it was cool it was my own pace, learning it with my own pace.
There's always something that surprises you when you take your creations and you put it in the hands of others, whether it's a prototype like this or an interactive installation. You get people coming in and they interact with your thing in a very different way than you expected. And today was a little bit of that because I noticed that they were actually playing quite a bit with the interface, the playback interface, where they could actually change the playback speed, scrub the timeline, not so much focused on the go-go interaction technique itself. So they really enjoyed just exploring that part of the application that is the kind of scaffold around the spatial recording. So that was interesting, and some of them came up to me afterwards and had some comments or how to improve some of the interface. And they were definitely looking at this through the lens of an interaction designer, which makes me very happy.
I really love the part of interaction design. A lot of those interactions are already well established in 2D, but how you actually seeing it and interacting with it is really hard to imagine. So I love the process of transforming those from 2D to 3D. By working with Professor Harald Haraldsson, I learned the importance of keeping your code clean and well organized. And also, in terms of design thinking, I learned a lot. So now I try to rethink anything in 3D, not just 2D. So try to think out of the box.
The spatial recordings that we are doing currently are all about explaining interaction techniques, but you could easily imagine that a physics professor might be using a slightly tweaked version of this and explaining a concept that is multidimensional in nature. It's really rewarding to see something that was just an idea last summer, and now we have a concrete project that could easily be used next semester in the classroom. So going from flat slides to physical props to now spatial recordings has been a very interesting process.